Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Tuesday. We'll have Buddy Martin from Gator Media here momentarily. Today is day 2 of the SEC Media Days in Dallas, and you have the Dogs of Georgia, Tennessee Vols, Oklahoma Sooners, and you round up the end of the day with Eli Drinkwitz and the Missouri Tigers. So, Josh asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, did we watch the Home Run Derby? I did not.
I watched a lot of it. I didn't. I watched the ending of it. Yeah, it's just pretty exciting game out to the last. And it gets a little boring after a while, But I watched it. It was so.
Who won? I saw some dude from the Dodgers. I've never heard of.
Teoscar Hernandez, I believe, wound up winning it.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Bobby Witt was supposed to, I guess, because I didn't watch it. I better look it up because Bobby Witt had not yet hit. He was the last one, so we'll have to check that out. But I believe it was Hernandez. Somebody help us out here.
It's a dude for the Dodgers is all I know. So, buddy, I know you probably sat around on your couch all day yesterday eating Cheetos and watching the SEC Media Days. Is that what you did?
Same way you characterize me as a couch potato like that. I'm a student of the game, okay? I actually do a little homework. I actually studied it, listened, watched, took notes, and yes, I watched almost every bit of it. I can tell you pretty much whatever you want to know about it. I got to tell you, the people who walked away with a lot of points were Sankey's opening address was very good. I don't care much for those things usually, but he covered a lot of things, made great points, and boy, he touched every base, every sport, and talked about everything that every Gator had ever done. And then he held firm to his commitment to make it an all-16 league every time we tried to get him to break it down. Well, who are you focusing on? He kept saying, I'm focusing on all 16. That was his message, all 16, all 16. The other two people who I really liked a lot I like Nick Saban. I thought he was really good. He had a lot to say. It was funny that he couldn't get in because he didn't have his proper credential. Of all the hard times he's given the media people over the years. Now he's a media guy. He's
a media boy.
Yeah, he didn't get at the end without his credentials. So he had to go back up to his room and get his credentials, Shane, which is great. He handled it well. At least I think he did. Although Lane Kiffin said, I noticed a quote Kiffin said this morning. He said, well, Nick's out of his element now. He didn't have a 7:30 meeting to call to chew somebody's ass about it. And then, then I thought Kiffin really handled himself well. And he was likable. He was on Feinbaum at the end. He did 15 minutes, very sober, very straightforward, very honest. And with Feinbaum, and I texted Feinbaum. I said that was refreshing. He texted back, "Boy, Lane was great today." So those are 3 of the people that I saw. Now I didn't get to see everything. You don't get to see the players because they're not on. But I would say it was a very good day for the SEC. It's underway. It's on in Big D, and people are really getting excited about it. And this is going to be a huge, huge deal.
Yeah, it is. I saw some clips late last night from Sankey. He's just a sharp dude, man. I got to spend a lot of time with him this past year at the SEC championship game.
Oh yeah,
he spoke to us, and he's the one that basically said the only other 2 teams that have a potential chance way down the road of being in the SEC is North Carolina and Virginia. Those would be the only 2 that they would even look at.
Well, now he's sort of just backing out, saying the litigation is spending up. Is he was very clear They have no plans and discussions about any other teams.
Right. He said this would be way down the road,
Yeah.
but he basically said there's no Miami, there's no Florida State, there's no Clemson. None of those teams bring anything to the league. It would be North Carolina, Virginia. That came straight out of his mouth.
And
So,
I would agree with them. Those are two really fine institutions right there. I got to tell you, they really are. And by the
okay.
way, Florida's one of the new Ivy League schools, as they call them now. They have it broken down into two categories of public and private. Florida's one of the public, they call the new Ivies. So that's education thing is, and I thought Saban had a great point about this too. I know we laugh about him calling student athletes, but he said, we worked for so long to get academics up where they need to be. He says, I'd hate to see that start slipping now. Because Saban said, I've seen it change people's lives. I want these young men to be finished products. I want them to have an education, and I don't want to see it go back the way it was. So, anyway.
Yeah. All right. So we got some YouTubes here I need to read. Army Sniper says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, you keep saying the Gators win 7 or 8 games with an average defense. That was realistically last year's outcome. This year, the Gators need above average defense due to the schedule. I could be wrong statistically, but my eyes tell me we were way worse than average defense last year in about every damn game. Somebody will have to tune in or chime in and let me know if I'm crazy there.
What was the
But
number? When they finished, what number? It was a horrible number.
I don't know. I just know it was historical. Statistically, it was the worst in the history of the school. And the year before that, it was the worst. And it got worse last year. So I don't think you can do anything but improve. Um, Army Sniper wants to know what QBs that the Gators play just suck. Well, I don't think there's any that just suck that play Power Five football. What I do know is Cam Ward, very good player, but has never played in an environment like he's going to see August 31st. Blake Shapen, who will be starting at Mississippi State's never played in the SEC. He's played a little bit for Baylor. Connor Weigman cannot stay healthy. I think he's up and down. KJ Jefferson, I think he can only do a few things. I think he's very limited, especially throwing the football. He's at UCF now. I think DJ Uiagalelei
I forgot that completely. I don't even know where these guys are anymore. I can't keep up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And Uiagalelei, I just don't think he's very good at all. Some people may think he is. Obviously, Mike Norvell in Florida State thinks he's pretty good, but he is nowhere near Jordan Travis. Trying to think who else would play. I think Jackson Dart is a very good player, especially in his system. Carson Beck's a very good player in his system. But those are returners. But I think there's 7 new starters that we will be playing. So anyway, we'll see. But bottom line is defense has to get off the field on third down, or we ain't gonna win any games. All right. So, buddy, we got some text here on the Titan Mark text line.
All right, bring it.
This is Brian in Tifton, Georgia. Says, buddy, what are your sources saying Billy has to do to keep his job this year?
Well, first of all, Tifton, Georgia is my mother's hometown, so I love Tifton, Georgia. Number one. And my wife is from Sylvester, which is about 15 miles down the road. So, yeah, like everybody else, I think anybody who says Billy's gone is nuts because it's pretty simple. You're not going to fire a guy whose prize quarterback, DJ Lagway, is lined up to be a great one, maybe. And I think that would just now Billy would have to epically fail. By that, I mean he has to lose 8 games, 9 games, and the team will have to look sloppy again. That's just not going to happen. My sources say Billy's safe next year unless he is absolutely has a horrible year, which isn't going to happen. So he's not going to get fired next year.
Clint on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, will you ask Buddy if he has a baby sister that worked at UF and helped tutor the 96 championship team?
No, my only sister's dead, and she was a big Gator fan. She saw you play, Shane. But no, I don't have a baby. Why does he ask a question like that?
Oh, I don't know. I guess he thought you may have had a sister back in the 96, went to
Uh,
UF.
I
No.
covered the '96 team
Yeah.
and all that, but no, I did not have a sister. That was an odd question, but thank you.
Yeah. Tanya Ron says the defense last year was pathetic. You ain't lying.
Yeah,
All right.
it's
Jared in Gatlinburg, Tennessee says, Buddy, you keep saying you are hearing good things about football. Don't we hear good things during this time of the year every year? What is the difference?
the difference is a trained ear. I've heard this for the last 50 years. I know what I hear now, what I used to hear, and I can tell a little bit of difference about BS and just, whatever, and about real, genuine comments from people. I don't have a lot of great sources, but when one of my friends tells me that he heard Billy tell a friend of his, he's really excited about his team. He thinks he's got a good squad. He thinks it can compete. And I hear the players talking. You got to listen to the players who are talking about not just rah rah stuff. They're talking about how much they like their teammates. So I think there's cohesion. I think there's some depth, at least the first 22. And I think they're improved. Their coaching staff is better. I mean, just all the signs. How do you read tea leaves, Shane? You look at them and read them. You have to make judgments. So in my judgment, things are looking better. Now, I know the proof is in the pudding, and I know they're picked 12th out of 16th. I know all that stuff. If I'm Billy Napier, I'm loving that. That's where I want to be picked. I don't want to be picked third or fourth or fifth. So I think there's opportunity here. And you know this, Shane, with challenge comes opportunity. They've got a lot of challenge and a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Like I said, embrace it, maybe. Embrace it and go play.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I can promise you that the kids and the coaches think they can win every game. Every team, that's how every team thinks that way at this portion of the year. If not, why even freaking work out or do any of that stuff?
Let me turn it on you, Shane. What do you think? You're optimistic about it?
I do. The reason I'm optimistic is because I think the changes they made defensively are going to help us. I think we brought in better players, and the coaches we've added, I've heard nothing but good things from my coaching buddies.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I don't even need to talk offense. When we start scoring 10 points a game and not doing anything, that's fine. The only thing I would love to see in offense, as I've said multiple times, is throw the ball down the damn field. If we do that, we'll be okay. But I cannot remember in all of my years of watching Florida football, which is since 1988 pretty much closely, how bad we have been defensively the last 2 to 3 years. I'm talking awful. So
It's on Billy. That's on Billy. I don't know what was happening there. Some of those coaches surprised me. I thought he had hired some pretty good ones, and I couldn't get it done. Sometimes your coaching staff is not cohesive. They don't get
yeah.
along. I think that was
So
the case the last couple of years. Their coaches didn't really meld together, in my opinion. At least I think that way. Well, listen, Shane, you would know. You have good sources. I think it's a reason to be excited about this team this year. Hey, if you can't get excited about a 12-team playoff, about a team that's much improved, that has the toughest schedule in the history of college football, then go root for somebody else.
yeah. Well, I've said that multiple times. I said this on a show yesterday I was on. They were asking me a question. I said, here's the thing. Our world is crazy as it is right now, and everybody has their opinions, which they're right, rightfully so. The bottom line is, and I say it every day, buddy, there's not one thing you and I can do about Gator football. There's not one thing you and I can do about Gator basketball. There's not one thing you and I can really do about politics other than just vote. So why the hell do people worry about it and complain?
I agree, and I have a friend who's a pastor who said, "Look, you stop blaming somebody else, a party or a candidate or whatever. Just realize, your fate does not rest with them, okay? Unless you make it that way. So yeah, a lot of things go the opposite way I'd like. You learn sometimes life is not always fair, and so you deal with it. But I think this is a time to be positive, Shane. I mean, look." Somebody said they played the EA game yesterday. I think it was Nick. It was Nick that played it. And he said he played it, and he said, "Holy shnikey!" At one point, the EA game had the Gators up to number 8 in the country, whatever that means. So I guess they're winning games. But I guess anyway. So we'll learn more about that. I'm learning more about that tonight with Kyle, my graduate, not intern. Kyle Curtis has got the game played, and we're gonna get you on that board, get you to play that video game.
No, I do
Come
not play
on,
video
Shane.
games. I do not have time to play video games.
No,
It,
it's your,
it
it's
does.
your job now. You're
No, it
gonna be
ain't. What the hell's a video game got to do with playing
a
real
lot.
football?
Don't be an old fuddy duddy, okay?
It has nothing to do with it, buddy.
Yes, it does. It has
No.
a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot you can learn from it. Did you not like the list of players they were rated by EA? Wasn't that
I
interesting?
don't even know who was in the game, what
I
their
told
ratings
you,
are, and I could care less. Because
Shane.
if I don't see them in live person in the swamp, running, tackling, catching, throwing, I don't care what the hell they do on a game.
Shane, don't be so serious. Sometimes let loosen your grip, okay? Stop thinking about everything is life and death. It's not. Have a little fun. I'm not an EA game. Some of your listeners probably are. It
Well, I'm
came out
sure they are.
yesterday. A lot of people are excited about it. I don't have any idea, but I'm going to investigate it, Shane, because I'm a reporter. Okay.
Are you going to go buy the game and play it?
I don't know. Wait, I'm going to see what Kyle tells me tonight. Kyle's
So,
going
can
to.
somebody on this show tell me how much this game cost? I'm curious.
Well, I'm going to find out tonight. If you
And
don't,
what I don't, I need somebody to tell me too, is because I know there was all this talk on Twitter. The game came out yesterday.
right.
Does that mean like you pay online and then it goes onto your app or something where you
A
can
lot of
play
good
immediately, or do
questions.
you have to go buy the game somewhere?
A lot of good questions. I don't know the answer to any of them.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
There, explain it to us now. Is it you do you get the do you get the you go on online version? How do you get it? Do you buy it? How much is it? Do you have any idea?
$70, Nat says.
$70. Okay, now we're learning something. We're doing some reporting here. And then I guess how you do it is you pick your players on your team, right? And you when you pick them, right? They cost so much money, and you have a budget, and you play with
Yeah,
these guys.
I think
yeah.
that's DraftKings, buddy. I don't think it has
Well,
anything to do
yeah.
with.
There's a version of the game that you can pay to win. You can like pay to get like really good players, like legendary players. I don't know if they'll have Tebow, but guys like that.
Okay.
Zach, can everybody hear you when you say this?
Yeah, I just switched it on
Okay.
so they could for that particular one.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so John, here's the answer. John on Cliff says the deluxe version's 100. John says the standard version is 69. The deluxe, he said, yeah, 100. The MVP bundle is 150 bucks. You buy online and you download it. Okay, so that's how people can buy it and get it to play immediately.
Let's get Zach to
Um,
put it on your computer so you can start playing.
that will never happen.
Oh, Shane.
No, that does nothing for me. Video games. My kids didn't even play video games growing up. So that was
Shelter by.
get your ass outside and do something, play
Oh,
something
Shane.
outside. All right, buddy, here we go.
All right.
Real quick before we get to the text, let's talk about Silverback Concrete. They build firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. All right, buddy, you're on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and this is from the Titan MR text line. Gary says, buddy, why didn't you go to SEC Media Days, and do you think it was a good idea to have it in Dallas?
Well, number one, I didn't go because it's a long way out there for me. I don't travel as much as I used to. Number two, I have people there. I thought about going, but I figured I'd rather have someone there. I've got people there. And I'll tell you something, a little secret. Except for the player interviews, which are not individual, you're with other people, you get a chance to talk to some of the players. It's easier and you're more informative to sit and listen and watch because what you're doing is listen to interviews all day anyway. I can see every coach interviewed, everything right here in front of my TV. I watched 10 hours of it yesterday.
Wow.
I watched it. I couldn't have gotten any more information than I got. Plus, I have all kinds of stuff on email I get from them. So I thought I could do just as good a job right here, right now. And the reason they went there is because Oklahoma and Texas are now in the SEC. And they wanted to welcome them to it. So they had the first one in Dallas. It goes back to Atlanta. So there's your answers.
Yeah, I mean, with today's world, with the SEC network carrying it, you probably really don't need to go unless you really want to. And I don't think you can unless you're a close beat writer to one of the head coaches to get, hey, Kirby, come over here in the corner. I got to ask you a couple things, but
Yep.
that really doesn't happen. They
Well,
go
here's
straight
what
down.
happens to that. Here's how that works. Tomorrow would be the day to be there when Billy's there because he does meet with the Gator media in attendance tomorrow for about 30 minutes before he goes home. So you would get 30 minutes with Billy, and you get to ask a couple of personal questions. So from that standpoint, it's good. But I thought about it. I thought it was better and smarter for me to be here.
Yeah, could you tell? And I don't know if they reported or what. Were there more media members ever at this event in Dallas,
Well,
or
it said
did they
1,200.
announce that?
It said 1,200, which would be right near the top. I think the biggest ones have been around 1,200. They limited some media access. Some people who applied didn't get in. So they kind of
Mm.
copped it off at 1,200. And, that includes print reporters, if there are any left. That includes people with podcasts. It includes uh, uh, video people, etc. They have like 4 or 5 rooms. They go from room to room to room to room. You get plenty of information, and it's there. It is interesting, but it's a lot to wade through with. So yeah, I think this was an important one because it was the first one with a new SEC, or as Greg Sankey says, the All 16.
Is that what he called it? The All 16?
Yep, so that 3 times, All 16.
You think there's any way they ever say Vanderbilt, you guys are out?
I talked about it on my show a couple of nights ago. I hope Vanderbilt's never out. I think that is a testimony to where the academics still matter. And that it
Well,
should.
hell, I think our academics are equivalent with theirs.
That's what I mean. But I think Florida and Vanderbilt and those schools hold that line. And I think there should be some component. Otherwise, just strip it down and go play it. Have another pro league.
Yeah. Okay. We have another text here on the Titan MR text line from Johnson in Key West. He says, buddy, this is never ending. Buddy, do you think Napier survives? Can UF afford another coaching change?
Well, yes and no. Yes to the first one and no to the second one. They'll survive, but who's going to want to coach here if you keep firing your head coach? Look at every program. Look, even Nick Saban got off to a rocky start. It doesn't always work out like Steve Spurrier, where you go out the first year and you have Shane Matthews as your quarterback and you win. What did you guys win? 10?
We went 9-2.
And counting
We
the
couldn't go
ball.
to a bowl game. We couldn't go to a bowl
Oh,
game.
that's right, the bowl game, yeah. So it doesn't work out that way, and it takes a. And another thing is, Shane, there's a lot more about team building now. I noticed that Brian Kelly yesterday talked a lot about how you have to be careful about the portal. You can't build a team out of the portal. You can't even answer your questions or fix what's broken out of the portal, he said. And they had a huge number of people from the portal that was successful. And also, Kiffin talked about team building. From that standpoint, it looks like Billy's doing the right thing in building the team. Could he recruited better? Yeah, probably. And I think the thing is, we were all critical. I was that he wasn't more aggressive in the portal. Long term, if you can survive, you can't live by the portal alone. You have to have other players. So I think we're learning things about it, how it works, and we don't know the answers to that. It appears as though, although Kelly had a lot of players from the portal last year, he's a little reluctant to say that that's what's going to be the strength of his team this year.
Yeah, LSU made some additions, but the biggest portal guy is Kiffin. He's not a high school recruit guy. He wants to get as many out of the portal.
And even he
So
talked about the dangers of that. He talked about it too, as well, as about you can't rely on that only. So
but that's all he does. Let's be honest. Joseph says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, what coach has been fired that shouldn't have been fired? And he goes, $8 million a year, they'll be lined up for that kind of money. The problem is if things go bad, I don't know if we can afford it. Is my point.
Well, look, it's like any other business decision. You sit down and you measure the what pluses and minuses, what your gains and losses are, and if you think you can afford it, you do it. But you're not going to build your momentum in your program by changing coaches every 3 years. We all know that. I mean, Billy Napier didn't get to be a bad coach overnight. Maybe he wasn't quite up to the task the first 2 years. I understand that, and he lost some games he shouldn't have lost, and he lost some ways he shouldn't have lost. But the fact is, I think we're feeling like maybe he's got a grip on that now. But you got a tough road to go now. It's a new day, and you better have your stuff together, especially if you're playing the schedule like Florida's playing.
Daryl says on the Titan More text line, I don't get into SEC media days like I used to because to me it's a bunch of coach speak, and I've never seen a coach say their team sucks. Yeah, the funny thing is every one of them gets up there. We've had a great off season. Strength coaches done a great job. Blah 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 blah.
You do learn some things, and there's a lot of coach speak. Everybody knows that. But there are things that other sources there at SEC Media Days outside the coaches up on the days that you learn from. And so it's the information gathering. If you think you're going to learn everything about the program by listening to the coach, you're crazy. But I mean, look, let's call it what it is. And I agree with whoever said, I don't get as excited about it as I used to. I'd be there. I went to a ton of them, and I think it's good, and I like it. This is an exceptional year, though.
Certified Painters of Gainesville, area's leader in painting excellence and proud partner of the Florida Gators, offering professional painting services for homes and businesses, plus cabinet refinishing and carpentry repairs. Visit CertaPro.com for a free estimate. All right, David says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. I'm not sure what this means. We need mandatory spending on players and relegation of teams. Any idea what that means?
No, I think he means some limit on spending, I guess, what you can spend. The salary cap, I guess, is what he's talking about. And what was the second part? Relegation of what?
Relegation of teams. So I'm not sure what he means by that.
That means either. No. There's a lot of things we need. I think Sankey pointed out one of the things he kept talking about, that one of the problems they're having is they have this patchwork way of NIL rules they use because every state has a different set. They all have different legislatures, and they don't have the same rules. So one NIL deal in Missouri doesn't work in Louisiana. And that's one of the things they're trying to change from a national standpoint through Congress. Plus, they've still got to get their exemption and I trust. So there's a lot of legal stuff that's so boring. I don't want to hear about it, neither do you. But a lot of things got to be fixed. But they got the strongest conference by far in the history of the game. They have some great football games, and all of you complained about not having good games. Boy, you got them now. So strap it on. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, buddy. I want to ask you this because a bunch of people are chiming in about the Miami game. I've said multiple times, I think it's the most critical opener that the Gators have had in my lifetime. Now, if you lose it, doesn't mean the season's done. But what it does is because I really firmly believe we can start the season 5-0, and I don't think that's unrealistic at all because 4 of those games are at home. Because if you do start 5-0, the narrative changes. Okay, all these freaking people that are bitching and complaining and want the Gators to lose, whether you like the coach, hate the coach, like the quarterback, hate the tight end, whatever, they're still on your team. And that's what I do not understand, why these people complain nonstop. Okay, having said all that, do you think the Miami game is the most critical game we've had in quite some time?
I don't. No, wait a minute. That's not what you said. Quite some time, yes. But the way it's being talked about is the most critical game in history. And other people say the biggest game and opening game in history. I can't say that. Here's why Coach Spurrier would tell you probably too. It's not a conference game. Okay. They can still have a great finish and lose to Miami. Now, is it an indicator of things to come? Maybe, and it's a critical game. I'd have a hard time saying it's the most critical opening game in history.
I think it is since I became a Gator in '88. I would say it is.
What was your opening game?
We opened up against
Oklahoma
State, but nobody expected anything. But if we lose that game, nobody gives a damn because it was Coach's first game.
Yeah, true.
And then the next year we played San Jose State, and I can't remember the other one.
Yeah.
But I just think it's critical for sure. I got to get to this Facebook thing here. It just went away. I got to pull it up on my phone. Buck says he thinks this is the biggest opening day game ever for UF.
But why?
That was
I don't know why. Why is that?
because you're coming off two horrible years, 2 or 3,
Okay.
and
But
it's
you're giving-
brutal. You got to
but-
beat Miami. You got to
Yeah,
beat Miami.
Okay, but see, the bottom line is that Miami is not Alabama and not, I mean, you're elevating Miami to a status they don't deserve. Now, I understand why it's a critical game. Yeah, I do get that, and I do think it's really important. But I mean, this is Miami. Come on, man. No, I can't go there.
Okay. All right. So Kanye Ron explained about the regulation of teams, saying some soccer leagues have relegation, where the best team of lesser league replaces the worst team in the better league.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't follow it. Did you, by the way, speaking of soccer, did you see what happened down there at
What a mess in Miami. My gosh, it's scary. This
well,
is bringing the hooligans of soccer to America in a way
well,
I'm
it's got
oh, like.
we have the World Cup here in a couple of years.
That's
So they
right.
better figure it out.
Well, they sure better. I don't know if people will feel safe anymore, Shane. It's getting to a point where when our president gets shot, our former president, we get assassinations, we have street violence, we have soccer games that get people get hurt. It's crazy. It's
Andy
crazy.
says on Facebook Live, Billy's first home game versus Utah 2 years ago was bigger in his opinion.
I would agree with that. You're right, Andy. You're exactly right. It was bigger.
All right. Another text on the Titan our text line from Robert. This is an interesting text here. He says, Buddy, have you ever thought about writing a book on the downfall of Florida football? All the crazy drama, losing seasons, and coaching changes.
No, I've written 3 books on Florida football. I don't think I'll be writing anymore soon.
But
But I
you wrote about the good times, right?
what I wrote about in a book about all of Gator football, all the ups and downs of it. Yeah, and I've been in sugarcoat it. I went back and talked to 60 players that played on different teams and talked about their times. I mean, look, you think this is the only time Florida football has struggled? Come on, man. These are people who use the cliche, woke up on third base and thought they had a triple. That they don't understand. Football didn't start in 1980. There were games being played. Talk about getting beat by Georgia 51-0 in the rain. You think that was fun? There's been some bad times in Florida football, but there's an old cliche in all kinds of weather. You guys turned it around and showed us what it could be. We always thought it could be. Bear Bryant said a long time ago, Florida's a sleeping giant. If they ever wake up, we're all in trouble. And so, yeah, I mean, Ray Graves had his moments, but Coach Spurrier brought it to us and brought it to the championship level. So, do you think Ole Miss hadn't had some bad teams? This is the first time they've had a program like this since Johnny Vaught. Every program.
They've only won 11 games, I think, one time, and I think that was last year or 2 years ago in the history of the program.
But you can't go back because he didn't play that many games years ago. Vaught won 6 SECs.
Oh, I know all about Johnny Vaught. He's my dad's coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know I have a lot of listeners on this we love our listeners, and whether we agree or not, that's beside the point.
That's great. No, it's good.
Yeah, but we have so many listeners, I believe, that are probably anywhere from 34 to 40.
Yeah.
And when they grew up, right, buddy? Watching the Gators.
Yeah. Yeah.
From like 1990.
Right. They think
through
that's
urban. So they only that's all they're aware of.
Yeah.
And I get it. But we'll see.
Well, there was a year Florida didn't win a game. 1979, Charlie Pell. I mean, there's things but you know what? There have been ups and downs for every program, including Alabama. Everybody didn't come out of the chute winning all the time. So,
well, as I've said multiple times, whether I'm right or wrong, but it's my belief, most programs that have a lot of success and whatever those years are, the people having that success usually are Hall of Fame type coaches.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to go back to something that we told the story 100 times. Franz Beard and I talk about the night after Florida beat Oklahoma for a national championship. Myself, Tim Casey, and Franz went to Denny's at 2:00 in the morning to get something to eat, sitting there. And I told those guys that night, and I got myself saying, you better enjoy this while it lasts, because this doesn't come every day. Been a long time since then. So just when you get it back, embrace it, enjoy it, celebrate it. But when you're rooting for a team, you got to stay with them in the tough times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just suck it up and be supportive. All right, buddy. Glenn on the Titan Mar text line wants to know, do you have to subscribe to GatorBait now? You let people know how they can read y'all stuff.
You know, I don't do a good job on that, and I apologize. And you're right, and it's always been charged. It's not a free service. Yes, you go on to GatorBaitMedia.com. There's a variety of packages you can get. You can buy the whole year subscription for a discount. You can even buy monthly if you want to, and you do. If you have any questions, please contact me at buddymarkshow@gmail.com, and I'll try to put you in touch with someone who can help you. You go in, you put your credit card in, try it for a month. If you don't like it, don't read it. But there are some good things coming up right now that you want to read in the season. We welcome you. We of course do our show 4 nights a week. So yeah, we'd love to have you. Please remind me to tell people GatorBaitMedia.com. The information is right there. Click on the link, get your credit card out. It's very inexpensive.
All right. So before we let you go, buddy, we're going to get your British Open picks here in just a second too. But here's what I would like to see out of this year. I ain't talking about football wise.
All right.
Okay. I'd love for them to honor the 84 and 85 players.
I'm with you on that. Yes, amen.
Okay? I would love for the Gator Bait chant that the band does come back.
Love it.
Move Back You Suck needs to come back. I know they did it at South Carolina last year. I can't remember if they continued doing it. The band did. So we have a new president here. So if anybody else agrees with me, y'all need to. I don't know if petitions or any of that nonsense ever works.
Let's lead the charge, man. Let's get it going.
I don't want to be. I'll sign it, but I don't want to lead anything. But those are the things
you'll endorse. I
love. And I don't get to experience as much now because in the broadcast booth I have on headsets, but I always take them off so I can hear. There's nothing better, in my opinion, in college athletics is the home stadium environments of whatever team you root
100%.
for. Like I love rock. As much as I hate Rocky Top, I love Rocky Top when they sing it there because I just think it's awesome.
I'm with you.
Tiger Stadium when they do the Chinese Bandit, whatever the hell that thing is, I freaking love it. That's college football.
Yeah, Alabama when they play that in Tuscaloosa.
Oh yeah, and for us to not be able to do those type of things, it really, really bothers me. And in today's world, there are really no rules anymore. So let's get this stuff coming back.
I'm with you on that. Please don't start banning things based on some fabricated story that might have happened one time. Please. Let's go. Let's get past that. I'm with you, Shane. Amen. Can I say where I sign up? I'm with you 100%. Let's get this going.
Okay. So Andy says Move Back You Suck is officially back. Okay, good. Andy also says, should we write the Alligator? Would that be the place to start? Is the Alligator still in business on campus?
It is. I don't know much about it. Maybe we can get an Alligator reporter on and talk to him. We'll find out about it.
I mean, we need to get back to that stuff because that's what made the swamp fun.
Absolutely. Listen, you got shows, your show, my show. We've got publications. You got On 3. You don't have a lot of room for write-ins.
And look, please don't take this the wrong way because Won't Back Down is outstanding. But I would prefer to have the other stuff over that.
Interesting.
Well, because that's something new.
Yeah. You can have them all. You can have it all.
Yeah. All right. From Georgia Gator on the Titan Mar text line. I've been a Gator since '82. I grew up in Georgia and was raised by mostly UGA Mutt fans. I know what hard times are. 84, 85, and 90 should be recognized. Agree 100%. Okay, buddy, before we get you out of here, the British Open is this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not doing my picks till tomorrow with JC. But do you have anybody that you like in this?
Yeah, let's just not pick Scotty Scheffler. Let's just take him off the grid. because he's an automatic. But I've looked at a couple of guys this morning I thought, a guy I really love is this Ludwig Oberg, pronounced
Oh,
Aberg. This
no,
guy's
it's pronounced Oberg. It's an A
Oberg.
with a little O
Yeah,
on
I
top.
said it's Aberg, but it's
Oberg.
pronounced Oberg. Yeah, and this guy's a ball striker. I love how he gets up and hits the ball right away. He doesn't deliberate. I think he's got a shot over there. A guy I've loved for years, and he just can never quite get there. I'm still going to keep him in my group. Tommy Fleetwood. I really love
Tommy
him.
Fleetwood. I picked him last week. He didn't play great, but these are his kind of courses.
I've been picking him for 3 years and different things. 20 plus 2,200, by the way. And the guy you love to hate, I like Bryson DeChambeau. I'm going with him. So DeChambeau, Fleetwood, and Oberg are my guys.
I love Ludwig's game, man. He's like ranked fourth in America in the world right now,
Terrific.
right out of college, just a stud. So you'll have to tune in for my picks tomorrow, buddy, because I can't give them
All right.
away. For JC
All right.
may try to steal them. You know what I mean?
I know you can't give any advanced information.
Joseph says they talk about fan atmosphere, but their way of increasing it is cutting seats out. Give us our chance back. I agree.
No, that's not going to go down well. That's an emotional issue. That might be the most emotional issue for all of Florida because they're going to be seats cut out and they're going to be more expensive boxes to raise more money. They're going to call it, well, we're going to make it more of a boutique area. We're going to do this, make it, and I do know it's a challenge. It's probably the hardest job that Scott Strickland's got because no matter what he does, people aren't going to like it. There's opportunity here to make it special, but I think there's a feeling that the average person is going to be shut out and forgotten about. That's what he's got to fight. So I don't know the answer to that. I do know the luxury boxes are coming though.
Army Sniper. I'm curious how old Army Sniper is because Army Sniper says us alumni and fans are not going to keep spending 3,000. You say 3,000 or 30,000 a year? Maybe he's a Bull Gator to watch crap football. Again, I'm curious when you grew up watching the Gators, because like I've said, there's only about 20 years of really good football. Spurrier's 12, Urban's 6, and Galen or Charlie Pell's 2 or 3. And I know there were a few other ones sprinkled, but so let's say 25 out of 140 years of football or whatever. But anyway, I get your point. But I would just say be positive. Be
Shane,
positive. Complaining does nobody any good.
But I'm going to complain about one thing, and maybe I'm wrong. I know that perhaps he earned his name. He probably did serve in the service. I don't want to demean that. I think right now it's a bad time to have an orange sniper in your name. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Very true.
Got to be changing that to something else.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Who you got on your program tonight?
Tonight we're going to have Kyle Curtis is going to debut talk about the new EA game. We've got Lauren Meadows, and we've got a report. Our live guy out in Dallas. Brendan Martin's out there along with Rob Brown. We're talking about what's happening today. It's a big day. Going to be a lot of interesting guests and a lot of interesting coaches to be tuned in. I'll be watching it all day, and I'll be reporting about it tonight at 9 o'clock. My program, Buddy Martin Show.
Yeah, it's 118 years of football. Last text came in here from Jimmy. He wants to know, buddy, if you were at Media Days and you had one question to ask Billy Napier, what would it be?
What should we expect from this team in terms of wins and losses? Guess what?
Well, you know what he's going to say? Well, we have great opportunity to go out there and
answer it.
He's going to give you coach speak.
But you didn't say that. He said, what would I ask? I would like to know that, but probably wouldn't be, you'd be wasting a question. So I just say something like, I know you're optimistic about this team. Tell me why. And I think this was asked of Saban yesterday. If you had a question to ask one person, what would you ask? And he had a good question. He said, what are the people what were the players and coaches who might be surprised about? That'd be a good one. What would be a surprise, because they don't want to tell you.
Very true. Buddy, good stuff as always. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Shane.
Enjoy sitting on the couch. Or what are you going to eat today while you're watching SEC
Oh,
Media
my
Day?
wife's going to serve me filet mignon. Yeah, we're going to have filet and champagne, and they'll do it right. Why are you
Very
laughing?
nice.
She laughed when I
Very
said,
nice. Very nice. That's Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You should join us on the Titan and More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out, come back. I got more texts and stuff to get to. You're watching and listening PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors, Sutter Pro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors are Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Again, today, I want to thank Buddy for joining us on the Titan More Hotline. Today, SEC Media Days, you get Kirby Smart, Josh Heupel, Brent Venables, and Eli Drinkwitz. So we got Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Gators go tomorrow. Billy Napier will be there along with 3 Gator players. I think it was at Montreal, Shamar James, and Graham Mertz. Ray says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, would go as far to say a college football game is the best fan experience. Agree 100%, especially in the Southeastern Conference. You can't beat it. Doesn't matter what stadium you go to in our league. It's a tremendous atmosphere. Whether you like the opposing team or not, it's usually a lot of fun. I love going to the away ballparks and trying to take in their traditions and things of that nature. There's nothing stranger to me, and I know I'm not talking down on it, but when we played, was it last year? Yeah, last year we played at A&M, or was it 2 years ago? No, it was 2 years ago. That was my first time ever there. And I was just in awe of all the chants and stuff that the crowds do with their male cheerleaders or their yell leaders. I was fascinated by it. It blew me away during the game. You don't see it all on TV, but they're nonstop, and everybody knows what to do, the hand motions and things. So it was very interesting. Dan says the Gators are 150 tomorrow. I don't know if that's Eastern or Central time because Dan's out in Texas. I wonder if Dan, have you been to the hotel? I don't know if they're letting fans in or not. Dan also says the Vol Navy's cool to see. Hopefully UF and Georgia will have that when the new stadium is built. Yeah, the Vol Navy is very, very cool. No question about that. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is looking for enthusiastic, motivated comfort specialists to join their team. $1,000 signing on bonus after 90 days. Awesome benefits and the opportunity to grow with a winning team. Apply today at comforttemp.com. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Tomorrow we'll have JC. I'm trying to get one more media guy since it's SEC Media Days. We'll get back to former players next week. This text on the Titan MR text line from Bradford. He says, Shane, what is your favorite away game to broadcast at? I'm not going to get into the booths and all that kind of stuff. Some of them are terrible. Some of them don't allow you to open the windows up, which we love to open the windows so we can get a feel of what's going on. But probably my favorite, and I've only been doing this, would be year 3 for me. I did a little bit of it with Mick in his last year, so about 3.5 years. I love going to Tennessee. I just think the atmosphere there is great. I love Baton Rouge, Tiger Stadium, nothing like it. A&M was a cool experience, but we were extremely high and the windows did not open up. But I'm anxious to go to Texas. Never been to Austin. I'm not answering your question here. I would love for us to go to Auburn, but we're not going there anytime soon. I'm sure Mississippi State will be somewhat interesting with all the cowbells broadcasting. So we'll give you an update this year on all that. Dan says he will be there at the Omni. Well, good deal. Good deal. Kanye Ron on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. A&M does a midnight cheer practice the night before too. Yeah, and they do the bonfire and all that stuff. So just cool stuff throughout our league. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. I may try to watch, if I get some time today, watch some of the SEC Media Days. I didn't see anything yesterday. Again, the British Open at Troon is tomorrow. Well, tomorrow night, our time. So JC and I will make sure we do our picks. We had tremendous picks last week for the Scottish Open. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. In 2017, Kawhi Leonard re-signed with the San Antonio Spurs with a 5-year, $90 million contract. That was 7 years ago, and now these guys are signing 5-year, $300 million contracts. It's crazy. But that's This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Don't forget also, as I mentioned, the Peachland Dental Picks tomorrow, and we look forward to it. I appreciate everybody chiming in. Again, whether we agree or disagree, we love the comments. Y'all make this program. It's getting bigger and better each and every day. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.